And good Monday, everybody. It's Jeremy Moses here with another edition of the Squared Circle Cafe podcast. Today is Monday. It is, let me double check here, July 27th, 2020. I attempted to record this on Thursday night, Friday morning. Didn't work out so well. Then I tried again on Friday afternoon, and I couldn't get through it. I couldn't get through it because I've been injured. If you follow me on my personal social media, you probably already know this, but I basically went through, I basically cracked some ribs over the weekend, taking the dog outside, and it is what it is. But that's not why I'm here to talk today. I'm here to talk about the WWE and the fact that my fandom has just kind of died, for lack of a better term. And I want to explain why, and hopefully I could do this a lot more succinctly than I could when I went into it on Thursday. But let's just start there. I'm going to start with the COVID situation, how WWE has flat out screwed it up. Yeah, they've messed up big time. The fact of the matter is, they had an outbreak at the Performance Center, and they refused to publicize how many people tested positive. And they refused to let the talent publicize for themselves that they tested positive. Now, they cannot give out personally identifiable health information by law. That's what they call a HIPAA violation. Health Insurance Privacy something Act. And they can't publicize who exactly tested positive. Now the individual talents are allowed to publicize that, hey, yes, I tested positive. The only problem is WWE is not allowing them to do that. And that's where I have a problem. That's where I have my first problem with WWE. You seem like you have something to hide. And I do not like that. It doesn't make me feel good about tuning into Raw, SmackDown, NXT, I didn't really watch 205 Live, but it doesn't make me feel good about watching your programming when you're hiding things. Like, oh, people tested positive for the coronavirus, for COVID-19. And this rubs me the wrong way. Sorry, not sorry, but it does. So right off the bat, I have problems with getting invested in WWE. Okay, so let's look past that. Okay, then we've got a situation known as the Speaking Out movement, and I shouldn't call it that, but it's Monday morning. I've had, half a cup of coffee as I take another swig. And, yeah, we've got this thing called Speaking Out. A lot of people, lots of talents implicated. Guerrero, among others. Jack Gallagher, implicated in Speaking Out. And WWE, to their credit, they did fire Jack Gallagher. But we haven't heard much else. And my God, it just feels shady. Again, it feels like you're hiding things. And don't even get me started on Matt Riddle. Whether he's guilty or not. If he's not guilty, fine. But there are allegations against him. Velveteen Dream There are allegations against him. And yet, WWE, for a while, continued to feature him like nothing was wrong. And then finally, and some of this may be related to a car accident that he was apparently involved in, allegedly. But finally, WWE has stopped talking about Velveteen Dream, and they just don't mention him. And if these people are being suspended or fired, fine, great, awesome, then tell us. Tell us about it. For God's sake, tell us about it. And you just don't. It just feels like you're hiding from all of this. And it's just shady. It really is. It's just shady. And then we come to the third reason that, and this is the most important, I guess. Or, no, not most important. I take that back. But this is the biggest reason why I have just lost any interest in WWE. The creative just fucking sucks. It just sucks. I mean, an eye for an eye match where they used a fake fucking eye to... Are you kidding me? You know, and then you get this swamp fight that there was no winner. You got a women's championship, Raw Women's Championship match on Extreme Rules where no winner was announced, and they made you tune into Raw only to find that, well, Sasha Banks didn't win, neither did Asuka. Who's the champion? We don't know. We just flat don't know. And we don't know who the U.S. champion is either right now. By all accounts, it should be Apollo Crews. But going back to the COVID, Crews has been out for the last couple weeks. They're saying it's because of the full Nelson that Bobby Lashley put on him. But I don't think we're fooled. I think we all know that really the full story is that it's COVID. I think wrestling fans aren't stupid. I'm certainly not. Don't try to insult my intelligence. Just don't. Seriously. These shows have just been horrible. AEW looks better. Oh, don't get me wrong. They have their problems. Such as a few weeks ago, they had a lumberjack match and another match spill into the crowd of spectator wrestlers, which it probably shouldn't have done during a fucking pandemic. And they have problems with, Jimmy Havoc. Their statement was, it left a little something to be desired. But whatever. Havoc hasn't been on TV since the allegations came out against him. Sammy Guevara, they sort of did the right thing. They suspended him, and they donated his salary to a women's, to an organization in Jacksonville, dedicated to helping women survivors of domestic issues, I think it was. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they donated Guevara's salary, which is great. You know, that's a tangible thing they could do. But they suspended him pending completion of a program. It was a 4-week program, and he returned on last week's Dynamite, which was actually taped 3 weeks into this program. But, you know, the creative's good in AEW. So they look alright. I'd have liked to have seen Sammy Guevara held out until July 29th, till this week. But we didn't get it. It is what it is. But they did punish him in a logical, tangible way. So I can get behind it. And at the end of the day, even Impact is starting to look good. Now, I couldn't get Impact for the longest time, but thanks to the cable provider we no longer have. But we are now an online streaming household, and I can get Impact now. And I'm kind of interested to see it. I am probably going to jump into that this Tuesday. But at the end of the day, I don't have any interest in WWE anymore. And that's coming from a fan of 20 plus years. And, I've been a wrestling fan for 23 years. Going back to 1997. And I just don't have any interest in WWE anymore. It kind of feels like it did when WCW was folding, and I just had no interest in wrestling anymore. When WCW was circling the drain, I had no interest in watching it. And it feels the same way. As I take another swig of coffee, it feels exactly the same. So, yeah, there you go. Bottom line, that is my thoughts and why I just have no interest in seeing WWE anymore. I'd like wrestling to do well, but right now, WWE just doesn't interest me. So those are my thoughts on this quick little 12-minute edition of the podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at JeremyMoses85. Follow JC, HardyCat1027. Follow Daria, that Daria Chick. And follow the show at SCC Podcast. We're on Facebook, Squared Circle Cafe. We're on Tumblr, I think. We still have the Tumblr. And the email address, squaredcirclecafe@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts. But that's it for me. I'm Jeremy Moses. This is the show by wrestling fans for wrestling fans. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night.